Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. As a planning engineer, one of the key steps you have to do is to make sure that the actual cost and unit equal the earned cost and unit. We used to use Excel for this step. However, one of the project I was using ABPM and it wasn't allowed to import Excel. So I have to find my way in using Global Exchange. Today in this video we're going to discuss three methods to do this using Global Exchange. Two has pros and cons and the third one were good for me. So let's start how to do this one. Before we start, there is something very important you need to know. If you went to resource assignment, there is a column called calculate cost from unit. Let's see how to bring it from columns, customize, general, and under general this one will be there. Okay, why this is very important? Because if this not checked like this and you can actually enter any actual cost or even any budget. However, if you check this one, it will calculate only cost from the budget unit multiplied by price per unit, and this is the most appropriate way, and this is the correct way of using the unit and budget. This telling us what? Telling us that P6 using unit. So most of your global exchanges and the operation you need to know or to do is or must be using unit, not cost. Now let's see the different cases we have in our schedule. I have this schedule with two activities, almost the same everything, and I already have a baseline assigned to this one. Let's start with the first case. I will make this one start and 30%. What you notice here, this is a physical 30%. However, the actual unit is 0. If we went to resources, the actual unit is 0. In matter of the cost, the budget is still the same, remaining nothing change. Earned value, we have value, and actual cost is 0. And this apply for labor, material, and non-labor. Let's see the first method that some already using, but I am not recommend. First method, let's see, modify. This could be considered where the activities has progress or completed, so on. I will keep it now empty. The most important is this section. This part under resource assignment, and here consider actual regular cost equal earned value cost. Let's apply. Commit changes, then okay. Let's see the changes that had been done. First, as you can see, still this number is okay. The earned value equal or the actual equal earned value in matter of labor. The budget labor is seem okay as the term of budget and at completion. And here, this is the actual total cost, this is the actual labor, and this is the material. You think everything is seem okay, and this is actually 30%. But let's see here from the resources. The actual unit is still 0. And if we went to resource assignment, you will notice this activity resources calculate cost from unit has been disabled. Why? Because this force the P6 to use the cost came from the global exchange, not the unit. And if we mark it again, it will make the cost equal 0. So this method is not working as we want. It could be used if your schedule only cost, and the important thing is the cost. But if you want to do this one, let me apply this global change again. There is a next step, it's very important, modify, let's see, is to make sure the budget or the remaining equal budget minus the earned value cost. Why? This will help in correction any gap could happen to estimate at completion. Change. As you can see, the at completion here still equal the budget, this is correct, and this equals the budget, this equals the budget, everything seem okay, and this is the remaining. As I mentioned, this method could work if the main focus on cost, not unit, maybe work in schedule like level 1 or level 2 schedule, not the contractor schedules. But even this not recommended, as I mentioned, because it will not make the unit equal the correct ones. Someone will ask, okay, why we cannot use the same? Let me copy paste and modify. Let's use the actual earned labor unit equal to earned unit. Also, this method has an issue that the earned value only work for labor. We don't have earned value material or earned value non-labor. Some of the projects ask you to load the schedule with a resource under material or non-labor to be used for the progress measurement. In this case, again, the earned value will not work for you. Okay. So this is the first method. I give you the pros and cons for it. Let's see another method. Let's see now the second method, and I will make everything equal to 0 and make sure the resource assignment taking the progress from the unit like this. Okay, okay, and let's make one more schedule. Yes, this one. So everything now became 0. The second method, I will give again activity A 30%. Let's go to tools, global change, and we have this method where the earned value equal, where under activity we assign the unit percent equal performance completion. Why we have to do this? Why we are selecting activity? If we copy paste, modify, and let's select resource assignment, yes, add. We don't have here something called performance, so let's unit and here performance. We don't have such setting under the resource assignment. So let's try the first option. I will delete this one now, and the earned value now modify again. Let's see, this is the unit is under activity, unit person completion equal performance completion. Let's apply and see the changes. Okay. For the activity A here, the earned actual cost from one step, it seemed like it's okay again, and this one it seemed okay. Let's go to resources. The resources also seem okay, and here from this layout, let's see the variance at completion, budget labor at completion labor is correct, earned value equal actual, correct, and this one the budget non-labor equal to at completion, and material, we don't have here material at completion, but from a quick check it seemed like okay. Where is the issue come? Let's convert now this to 40% and go to apply the same global change, apply, and okay, close. Let's see the issues now, what we going to have. First, let's start. Here's the earned value doesn't become equal the actual, or the actual not equal to earned value, and the estimate at completion for labor changes. Also, the estimate at completion not equal the budget as overall, and all the resources has a different number now. Let's see here, the labor is correct, however the material is 32, the budget, this is still 30 I believe, and this is 24, this seem correct. So this step, it seemed like it not work for everything, and this 40% is a 40% of the new at completion. So this one, the labor not change from so the labor has to be 32, but because the estimate at completion became 60, then the at completion is still 24, which equals the 40%. So the next time we apply the earned value, it seems like it maintains the actual unit for most of the item and makes the calculations that lead to have at completion equal to the 100% of this number. So the earned value or the unit percent method is not working for every time. And of course, if you have hundreds of activities ongoing, some started, some in progress, then this method will be an issue. Also, there is very important setting you have to consider here in calculation. This subtract actual from at completion. This already we consider. Let's back to our schedule. So the first method we can use sometimes. The earned value method I don't recommend at all. The third method, which I was using for a long time in a program where we used ABBM, and it wasn't allowed to bring data from Excel. We had to do all of our work on ABBM, and this method worked for me. Let's see. First, you need something that can talk between the activity and the resources, and for this we're going to use user define. So from enterprise user define, I added this one %A and make sure the data type will be number, and this is under activity. Of course you can call it anything, and if you reach to the limit of activity codes, activity user define, you can select any one of the predefined ones. Okay. Now let's go to global change, and I have this three. First one, store the performance in user define and divide by 100. Let's see, modify. You can select here if the activity is not equal to not started. Let's try activity status not equal to not started. Okay. The parameter is percentage A, which we select, equal performance completion. If you have a different type of performance, you can use it. And this divide by 100. Because if we didn't do this one, if the progress 30%, it will write here 30. So it will multiply later by 30, not 0.3. So this is very important, and I call it here is 2% UDF divide by A. Okay, by 100. Let's apply. And commit. You notice here this one, because I already stored earlier value, so commit change. The next step we have is apply percent user defined budget. What does that mean? Let's see. Here under resource assignment, we will multiply. Okay, first let's select any activity status equal to, because this is under resource, we don't have activity status. Okay. You can select anything could help in be select to select a certain activities. The idea is this type of global change allow us or give us more control for the unit we need to change. As you can see, we have option here, actual labor and actual non-labor and actual material. All of those we can multiply by the progress, or if we have a certain limitation that only we measure the progress user material and or non-labor, and the material we have to enter manual, so we can avoid using a very global change. We can be selective, select only what we need to change. All of this multiplied by its own budget. Let's try now change. Commit. Okay. If you stop here, maybe still you have issue. Let's see what is the issues we could have. The at completion still not equal the budget. Also, okay, maybe the earned equals the actual, or the actual equals the earned. But if we went to the units, the at completion unit still not correct. Here we come the last step, and very important, adjust remaining, which is R equal budget minus actual. Let's see what this do exactly. Again, under resource assignment, make the remaining labor unit equal budget minus actual regular labor, and remaining non-labor equal the same, and remaining. So again, we have here control for what we need to change, especially if the project has a mandatory requirement that the material has to be updated based on the actual status, let's say. So maybe you're going to delete this step from here. Okay, apply change. And commit. Let's see now. As you can see, at completion is correct. The labor or non-labor at completion is correct. And the unit, if we check the resources, everything here is a 40, and this 40, yes, this correct. This equal the 40% of the budget. If we went to cost, here this actual cost is correct, and the actual unit or actual the earned equal actual, the labor is seem okay, and also the non-labor or material and non-labor it seem okay. This user define, I will leave it in my website planexcg.com. What you need to do is just go to global exchange and import the file that I'm going to send it to you. After you saw this three method, if you have a better way to do this step, you can share it with us and we can include it in our website also. Thank you for your watching.